Hello, Jessica. Belated welcome in cyberspace. This will be some video midterm feedback for you. And if you have any questions or need any help or assistance from now until the end of the term, please don't hesitate to reach out. Now, when I open your Illustrator file, Jessica, I'm getting a error message here that I'm missing a typeface, freestyle script. Typefaces, like images, are proprietary. Sometimes they have to be purchased, and they would have to be included with your file, say if you were to take this to a service bureau. So anyway, I'm going to close this. I'll take a look at it, as a PDF file. Oh, interesting. What's that? But you have the ingredients. It looks like you've got everything on their own separate layers. It's just that the type, the way around that is to save your type as in outline format, or save your entire file as a PDF. Know that I can open a PDF up in Illustrator and it will still retain layers. So, PDF is just a versatile file format, but it retains things like transparency and layers, which are important. So your file structure is great. I'm just missing that one font. It looks like you have been able to embed images. That's really important. Be careful of borders like this because magazine pages are trimmed, and so this might disappear into the gutter depending on what side of the publication it appears on, and this might actually get trimmed off. So I would avoid a hairline, or if you use a hairline, back it back in and leave about maybe ½ an inch live area. And see what else can I say. Now I'm assuming that there was type in this label-like form. In general, I encourage people to, let's see if I can get to that file, to bleed. And I'm thinking that, this would be, here's a good opportunity to do that. I'm not sure what this radiant lines are. It looks interesting. It looks like something I should know how to do, right? Oh, I see. Okay, so let me just move that off here. If I can. And enlarge this. Here's what I mean by bleeding. Everybody's preferences are different, but to my eye, this is a fresher take. It's also, you can, if it does get trimmed, you can spare a little bit of that. Consider it. And I look forward to seeing how this looks in the typeface that you chose, the script font. Use of color, also really good. You've manipulated the colors of the curtains, at least to match the palette, the corporate palette. And you're starting to think of ways to clean this up. Perhaps putting it on a single line, it would be better. Oops, I didn't mean to distort it. Don't do that. But a single line. Try to create as clean a visual bar as you can. Sometimes that means dropping numerals down by a point or a half a point. Little detail stuff like that. It's a good typographic exercise, and you can perhaps Google ways to clean up typography in small scale, like a business card. Very useful information to have going forward. So, okay, so here it is. I think as you envisioned it, some changes from the previous version. Good that you give credit to your photographer, but this can be very small. This can be 5-point type, really running along the bottom of the image. It just needs to be there. It doesn't have to be readable, really, or immediately readable. And speaking of readability and hierarchy, what do you want the viewer to see first? What would you like to see them to see next? I think I like the idea of this sort of radiant sunrise, is what I'm getting out of it. Very luminous. I think you could maybe emphasize it a bit more. And I'm not sure you need to outline type, especially when it is as small as this. Be careful about tracking upper and lowercase letters. Usually tracking is reserved for caps. And for that reason, maybe you want to spread this out. I mentioned to you how it might be better to bleed this photograph, left and right, and be careful about. Again, this could be probably a single line. Think about some common vertical axes. You have a central axis here that you can hang the logo off of, and perhaps the address. This can be very small too. I would say, no larger than, say, 9 or 10 points. This information can be very small. All right, so you've got all the ingredients. I like this sort of purplish gray. I don't know if it's corporate palette or not, but it does look well against the other colors of the corporate palette. Good going.